we have to say that the Yugoslav system was like a mafia. That's how the political system was, more or less. All right, in Croatia, a lot of people adore Tito, the was he president of Yugoslavia? Great man, and built a wonderful country. And a lot of people call him a communist. I don't think he's a communist. I personally think he's a fascist. But what I mean by fascist and what other people mean by fascist is two different things. So we're not really arguing over what Tito is. We're arguing over what we understand the word to mean. You see? And that's where we have a lot of confusion. And in fact, that's probably the source of most arguments, not only in today's world, but always in life. You're not actually arguing over the topic, but what it means to you, the word. Hell, we can't even we argue now over what a woman means, or a man. Now we're arguing over basic ideas called reality. But Tito, yeah, he can't be a communist. Why? Because he's not full of hate. He loved Yugoslavia. He loved his people. He's always smiling. He loved life. That's not a communist, right there. Because the communist system is based on hate, resentment, greed. Okay, so he can't be a communist. So that doesn't work. But then what is he? Well, I think the easiest way to describe the great Tito is Don Corleone. He was the head of 5 families. Even more, 6, right? He was the head of 6 families. He was even one better than Don Corleone. He was the Godfather. He united all the families. And he developed a mafia kind of system in Yugoslavia. What I mean is family. If you were part of the family, you belonged to the family and did what you were told and didn't cause trouble, you were taken care of. And nicely. People say, you had people got apartments, they had pensions, they had time, lots of children. People had cars, people had nice apartments, vacation time to spend with their children. If you were in trouble, the society would help take care of you. It's like the mafia. Because, I met this woman on the airplane once, and we were talking about the mafia because she was an old lady, like 95 years old. And I was on a long flight to Denver, like 4 hours from Florida. And this lady was old, but man, she could drink. Jeez, I think she had 3 gin tonics. I could only drink 2. But we had a good time. We talked the whole way. I was asking her a lot of questions about Vegas. And then I came around to the question I asked her is, how was Vegas under the mafia? Because you were there during that period. She said since the 30s she lived there. And she told me it was great. And I was a little surprised. And what do you mean it was, they took care of everybody, and so everything was safe and clean. And she told me that she wasn't part of the family, but she was a resident in the area. She wasn't part of the mafia, but she was part of the community. And she told me that when her leg was broken by some accident, the mafia would send a car to her once a week and take her not only to the doctor, but to go buy groceries. And she just worked in the casino. But they assigned a associate to her to help her. And that's like the family. Now, if she went around and talked shit or started snitching or started saying things that were against the family, she'd be in trouble. But as long as you're within the system and support the family, life is good. And of course, so Tito didn't really kill his opponents. Well, he did, didn't he? So I don't want to say that. Let's go back. So it's all about like mafia. And people tell me that Tito was the gangsta of all gangsters, with the cigar and the white linen suits and wonderful style and the best restaurants and this and that and the girls. And it's what you imagine of a Don. But he was one up on Don Corleone, I'm telling you, because he united 6 families. Don Corleone only put together 5. And so then we have to say that the Yugoslav system was like a mafia. That's how the political system was, more or less. Well, that's basically what I call fascism. In my opinion, fascism is basically the mafia. And you can look in Italy, their system, or Hitler. Hitler's system was racist, but it was also, if you were part of the Nazi ideology and you were a party member and you believed in the Germans, and you were, of course, an Aryan German, things were good for you. People got houses, cars, promotions. They were treated really well. Families were supported. Remember, I told the people that this is just one program that the Nazis had, is that if you bought a house, you paid 100% on your house. But if you were married with 1 child, 75%. 2 children, 50%. 3 children, 25%. 4 children families got a house for free. Okay? And the money that people borrowed to buy a house, there was no interest. It was a loan without interest. You just had to pay it back because the state would not make money on its own people that way. It was a family. They helped each other as long as you were an Aryan and didn't knock the system and cause trouble. Okay? It was a mafia. And that's what I think fascism is. Basically call it the mafia. Gangsta Tito, man. So I saw a little yippity dog the other day in Split, and a little tiny dog barked. It was so cute and funny. And I looked at the dog and I was going to say something to the owner because it was just mismatched, the noise being made, but the size of the dog. Well, anyway, the owner said, "Come, Tito, come." That was great. He named that dog Tito. That was so funny.